My name is Natalie Winters, and I'm 34 years old. Right now, I'm staring at this reunion invitation sitting on my kitchen counter, and I can barely breathe. Someone checked a box next to my name. The box that says Unemployed. My mother's handwriting, unmistakable. 3 months ago, I got another envelope, Time magazine. They wanted to interview me. They wanted to put my face on their cover. Person of the Year, they said. And here's my family, listing me as unemployed on a stupid reunion form like I'm some charity case. They have absolutely no idea who I really am. But they're about to find out. Before we dive into what happened next, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if you've ever felt invisible to the people who should see you most, hit that like button. Subscribe because this story gets wild. Trust me. You'll want to see how this plays out. I grew up in suburban Connecticut. Normal house, normal childhood, except I was never really normal to them. My father, Warren Winters, spent 40 years as an accountant. Same desk, same company, same routine. My mother, Judith, never worked outside the home. She spent her time volunteering at church and obsessing over what the neighbors thought about everything. Then there's my older brother Preston. He's a corporate lawyer at some prestigious firm in Manhattan. Married, 2 kids, the works. Preston is what my parents call successful. He makes $300,000 a year and won't let anyone forget it. My younger sister Mallory teaches high school English. She married a dentist named Clark. They have a nice house in the suburbs. Everyone considers Mallory stable, sensible, safe. And then there's me. The weird one. I was always the kid who preferred computers to people. Spent my teenage years learning to code instead of going to football games. My family tolerated it because I got into MIT. That made them proud. For a while, I graduated 5 years ago with honors in computer science. My parents threw a party. Preston gave a toast about how I'd probably end up at Google making 6 figures. Except I didn't do that. I turned down job offers from Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all of them. I told my family I wanted to work on something meaningful, something that mattered. They looked at me like I'd lost my mind. My father actually said, "Meaningful doesn't pay the bills, Natalie." I moved into a tiny studio apartment in Brooklyn, 400 square feet. I started working on independent AI research. Specifically, artificial intelligence for accessibility. Making technology that could actually help people with disabilities. Not because it was profitable, but because it was necessary. My family didn't understand. They thought I was throwing my life away. 2 years ago, Thanksgiving dinner, that's when everything exploded. We were all sitting around the table at my parents' house. Turkey, stuffing, the whole traditional setup. Preston had just finished talking about his latest case, some corporate merger worth millions. Everyone was impressed, asking questions, congratulating him. Then my father turned to me. "So Natalie, when are you planning to get a real job?" The table went quiet. I tried to explain what I was working on. This AI system I was building called ARIA. How it could help disabled people access healthcare information. How it could translate sign language in real time. How it could give paralyzed patients independence. Preston laughed. Actually laughed. "Playing with computers in your pajamas isn't a career. Nat, when are you going to grow up?" My mother started crying. "What will I tell people? My daughter graduated from MIT and she's unemployed." "I'm not unemployed. I'm working on something important." My father shook his head. "Important doesn't mean anything if you can't support yourself. You're 32 years old. No husband, no career, no future. We're worried about you." I left early that night. Barely spoke to them for months after. But it kept happening. Every interaction, every phone call, every family gathering I couldn't avoid. 6 months ago, my mother called asking me to lie to relatives about having a marketing job. "Just tell them something normal," she begged. 3 months ago, I found out Preston had been telling extended family I was between opportunities. Last month, Mallory suggested I could substitute teach to get back on my feet. Each comment was a small cut. but they added up. Then the reunion invitation came. Annual Winters family reunion at Uncle Bernard's lake house. 80 relatives expected. And there, on the pre-filled RSVP form my mother had sent me, under current occupation someone had written in pen, "Unemployed, seeking opportunities." My hands shook when I read it. I thought about not going. I really did. But something stopped me. Maybe spite. Maybe hope. Maybe I just needed to face them one more time. I had no idea it would be the last time they'd ever see me as a failure. Harry's what my family didn't know. What they never bothered to ask about. For 3 years, I'd been building ARIA, Adaptive Responsive Intelligence Assistant. But it wasn't just another chatbot or voice assistant. ARIA was different. Revolutionary. Even though I didn't think of it that way. I just knew people needed it. The breakthrough came about 18 months into development. I figured out how to make AI interpret complex medical information and translate it into simple language that anyone could understand. Imagine you're sitting in a doctor's office and they're throwing around terms like metastatic adenocarcinoma or bilateral pulmonary edema. Terrifying words you don't understand about your own body. ARIA could listen to that conversation and explain it to you in real time. In words that made sense. But that wasn't all. I developed a real-time sign language translation feature with 98% accuracy. Deaf patients could communicate instantly with hearing doctors. Deaf children could talk to hearing teachers. No delay, no confusion, just communication. And for paralyzed users, people who couldn't move their hands or speak clearly, I created a system controlled by minimal muscle movements. A twitch of the eye, a slight head turn, anything they could still control. ARIA gave them their independence back. 18 months ago, I released it. Open source, completely free, no patents, no paywalls, no corporate ownership, just available to anyone who needed it. Hospitals, disability organizations, schools, anyone. Within 6 months, 200 hospitals across the country had adopted ARIA. Within a year, international medical organizations were requesting access. I started getting emails, hundreds of them, then thousands. Cancer patients who finally understood their diagnosis. Parents of deaf children who could communicate with their kids' teachers for the first time. Veterans who'd been paralyzed in combat and could now use computers independently, write emails, browse the internet, live. People's lives were changing, millions of them. And I never told my family. Not a word. Why? Partly because I was hurt. They'd dismissed me so thoroughly, so completely, that I thought, if they can't see my value without awards and recognition, they don't deserve to know. But also, I wasn't doing it for recognition. I was doing it because it mattered. Because people needed it. Because I could. I lived frugally. Really frugally. My studio apartment cost $1,200 a month. I ate a lot of pasta and rice. My car was 15 years old and made weird noises. I wore the same rotation of clothes from Target. I didn't care about any of that. The work mattered. The impact mattered. To my family, I looked exactly like what they thought I was. A failure. 3 months before the reunion, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Is this Natalie Winters? Yes. This is Rebecca Chen from Time magazine. We've been following the impact of ARIA. My heart stopped. We'd like to interview you. Actually, we'd like to do more than that. We want to name you Person of the Year. I sat down hard on my couch. I'm sorry, what? She laughed. You've changed millions of lives, Natalie. The disability rights community has been nominating you for months. Medical professionals are calling ARIA the most significant healthcare technology advancement in a decade. Your open-source approach has disrupted the entire industry. Major corporations are scrambling to match your accessibility features. You deserve this recognition. Are you absolutely sure you have the right person? We're sure. Will you do it? I said yes. Obviously. But I asked for one thing. I asked them to delay the announcement until after my family reunion. The editor sounded confused but agreed. I had a plan forming. Let my family treat me exactly the way they always had. Let them dismiss me one more time. Let them list me as unemployed and offer me career advice and pity me. Then the truth would come out, and they'd have to face what they'd done. The photo shoot happened 2 weeks before the reunion. Professional. Surreal. Completely bizarre. I stood in front of cameras wearing actual nice clothes for once. They styled my hair, did my makeup, made me look like someone important. The interview was recorded. The article was written. The magazine was printed. Release date, 3 days after the reunion. As the reunion got closer, my emotions were a mess. Part of me wanted to skip it entirely. Stay home, avoid the humiliation, wait for the announcement. But another part needed this. Needed to face them as unemployed Natalie one final time. Needed to see their faces when the truth came out. I bought a simple outfit from Target. Nothing fancy. $15 for a plain shirt. It'd blend right in as the struggling sister. I practiced staying calm. Practiced not reacting when they inevitably offered condescending advice or pitying looks. Practiced being invisible. Just a few more days. Then everything would change. Friday afternoon. 3-hour drive from Brooklyn to upstate New York. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. I kept practicing breathing exercises. In for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Out for 4. My car made this concerning rattling noise the whole way. I should probably get it fixed. Didn't care enough. Had more important things to think about. When I pulled up to Uncle Bernard's lake house, the driveway was already packed. Preston's brand new BMW gleaming in the sunlight. Mallory's luxury SUV, some Lexus thing. Cousins driving Mercedes. And Audis. And Teslas. And then my beat-up 2010 Honda Civic, rattling and sputtering next to them like a joke. I sat in the car for 5 full minutes. Just breathing. Staring at that big beautiful house full of family who thought I was a disappointment. Thought about putting the car in reverse and driving away. But I didn't. I grabbed the $12 bottle of wine I'd picked up at the grocery store and walked inside. The moment I stepped through the door, conversation stopped. Heads turned. I felt 80 pairs of eyes on me, assessing, judging. Aunt Constance whispered to someone next to her, not even quietly. Oh, she actually came. My mother materialized instantly. That fake smile plastered across her face. The smile that meant she was mortified. She grabbed my arm and pulled me aside into the hallway. "Natalie," she hissed quietly, "please don't mention your situation. Just tell people you're consulting or something. Anything but unemployed. I'm going to be honest about what I do." "Mom." Her face went completely white. "Please. Just this once. For me. I'll tell the truth. That's all." She looked like she might cry but didn't push it further. Dinner that evening was exactly as awful as I'd expected. 40 people crammed around tables pushed together in Uncle Bernard's huge dining room. I ended up squeezed between 2 cousins I barely knew, picking at dry chicken and overcooked vegetables. Preston stood up to give a toast. Of course he did. He always did. "I just want to say how proud I am of this family," he started, wine glass raised. "We've had an incredible year. I made senior partner at the firm." Applause. Mallory got nominated for Teacher of the Year in her district. More applause. Cousin Heather made Director of Marketing. Applause again. He went through a list. Every achievement, every promotion, every success. He mentioned people I didn't even know. And then he paused, looked right at me, smiled this condescending smile. "And of course, we're all here supporting each other through various life transitions." Uncle Bernard, oblivious, asked loudly, "What about Natalie? What's she been up to?" The table went completely silent. Everyone looked at me. Preston's smirk got wider. "Oh, Nat's still figuring things out. A rent you, sis?" 40 people staring, waiting for me to defend myself, to explain, to justify my existence. I smiled sweetly. "I'm working on a project. It's going really well, actually." Preston actually snorted. Like I'd told a joke. "A project. Right. That's definitely one word for it. A few people laughed uncomfortably. Most just looked away. Embarrassed for me. I said nothing else. Just took a sip of my cheap wine and let the moment pass. After dinner, my mother cornered me in the kitchen. Why do you have to be like this? Why can't you just play along? Preston is just concerned about you. Concerned? He just humiliated me in front of 40 people. Has successful, Natalie. Has earned the right to have opinions about your choices. And I haven't earned respect? She sighed deeply, like I was being incredibly difficult. Respect comes from stability, from real jobs, not whatever you're doing in that tiny apartment. I wanted to scream, wanted to tell her everything right there, but I bit my tongue. Just a couple more days. Just hold on a couple more days. Later that evening, I was standing by the lake trying to decompress when 3 cousins approached. Heather, Blake, and Adrian. All smiles. All fake concern. Natalie, hey! We heard you're not working right now. Heather started. That must be so hard. I actually have a friend in HR at my company. I could totally help you with your resume if you want. Blake jumped in. Yeah, and honestly, there's no shame in retail or food service while you figure things out. Starbucks has really good benefits. Adrian nodded enthusiastically. Or have you thought about going back to school? An MBA maybe? Something more practical than computer science? Each comment delivered with this syrupy sweetness. This false kindness that made my skin crawl. They thought they were helping. They genuinely believed they were being nice. I appreciate the concern, I said carefully. But am actually fine. Blake whispered to Heather. Not even quietly enough. Denial. Classic defense mechanism. I walked away before I said something I'd regret. That night, my father asked me to take a walk. Just the 2 of us. We headed down to the dock, our shoes crunching on gravel in the darkness. Natalie, your mother and I are genuinely worried about you. I know you are. You're 34 years old. No husband. No stable career. No savings that we can see. That car you drove up in barely runs. Your apartment is tiny. When are you going to take life seriously? How do you know I don't have savings? Do you? I wanted to tell him. Wanted to explain everything. Instead I just said, I have enough, and am happy with my work. He shook his head slowly, disappointed. Happiness doesn't pay bills, sweetheart. At some point, you need to grow up. Face reality. Stop chasing these impossible dreams and build a real life. The words stung worse because he meant them kindly. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He genuinely believed I was failing. Genuinely thought he was helping. We walked back to the house in complete silence. I went to bed that night with my chest tight and my eyes burning. 2 more days. Just 2 more days. Saturday morning, I woke up to a text from my mother. Family meeting in living room, 9 a.m. Please come. I had this sinking feeling in my stomach. Family meetings never meant anything good. When I walked in at 9, my parents were sitting on the couch. Preston was in the armchair. Mallory perched on the ottoman. All 4 of them, waiting for me. It was an intervention. Preston started. He always started. Nat, we love you. You know that, right? We all love you. Okay. But this has gone on long enough. We can't just sit by and watch you struggle anymore. Mallory played good cop. We're worried, Nat. We just want you to be happy. My mother was already crying. I can't keep telling people my daughter is unemployed. It's humiliating. My father jumped in. We've made a plan. To help you. Preston leaned forward. I've arranged an interview for you at my firm. Entry-level IT support position. It's not glamorous, but it's legitimate work. $45,000 a year to start. Full benefits. Retirement plan. You'd be stable. And you could meet nice professional men there, my mother added hopefully. I felt rage building in my chest. White hot and barely contained. I don't need your help finding work. Clearly you do, Preston shot back. You've been unemployed for what? 3 years now? I haven't been unemployed. I've been working. On what, Natalie? Your imaginary computer projects? I stood up. I'm not taking the interview. Thank you for your concern. But I'm fine. Preston exploded. Actually shouted. You're not fine. You're a 34-year-old failure living in a shoebox apartment, driving a car that's about to fall apart, with no prospects and no future. His voice carried through the walls, into the rest of the house. Other relatives heard, started gathering. Aunt Constance poked her head in. Is everything all right in here? Preston, emboldened by his audience, stood up. We're trying to help Natalie face reality. And then he proceeded to list all my failures. In front of 15 growing relatives, who'd gathered in the doorway and hallway. Never married, no children, no real career, no accomplishments. She graduated MIT with honors and threw it all away to play with computers in her apartment. She has nothing to show for her life. Nothing. People were nodding, looking at me with pity, some with disgust. I was the cautionary tale, the wasted potential, the family embarrassment. Something inside me snapped. I stood up very straight, looked my brother directly in the eye. You want to know what I actually do? You really want to know? Preston crossed his arms. Please, enlighten us. I smiled, cold and sharp. You'll find out very soon. I promise you that. Then I walked out of that room with every eye on me. The rest of Saturday was torture. The reunion had activities: volleyball, swimming, a big barbecue. I participated minimally. People avoided me, or offered these gross patronizing words of sympathy. My grandmother Violet pulled me aside. Dear, I have some money saved. I could help with job training. Or even just groceries. Uncle Bernard suggested military service. They need tech people. It's not too late to enlist. Aunt Constance whispered about her friend's son who's a therapist. Sometimes career struggles stem from deeper psychological issues. Everyone had advice. Everyone had opinions. Nobody asked what I was actually working on. Saturday evening was the formal family dinner. Uncle Bernard gave this long speech about Winters' family values. Hard work, dedication, success, responsibility. He looked directly at me during the word responsibility. Then came the announcements. Cousin Heather got promoted to marketing director. Blake announced his engagement. Adrian announced she's pregnant. Each announcement got huge applause and celebration. I congratulated each person genuinely. I was happy for them. Nobody asked about my life. After dinner, someone suggested family trivia. We split into teams. One category was family achievements. The question: which Winters family member graduated from MIT? Preston buzzed in immediately. Natalie! Though she didn't exactly do much with it. The room erupted in laughter. Uncle Bernard added loudly, biggest waste of an Ivy League education I've ever seen. More laughter. Like it was the funniest joke they'd ever heard. I excused myself, went to the bedroom they'd given me, sat on the edge of the bed, and I cried. Not from sadness, from pure rage, from anticipation, because in exactly 48 hours, every single one of them would be eating their words. Sunday morning felt different, lighter somehow. Maybe because I knew it was almost over. Last day of reunion. Most families would leave by afternoon. Time magazine announcement. Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Less than 33 hours. I could survive 33 hours. Breakfast was pancakes and coffee. Everyone moving slower, tired from 2 days of family time. Mallory sat down next to me. Hey, I'm sorry about yesterday. Preston can be intense. That's one word for it. He means well. We all do. It's coming from a place of love. I looked at her. Is it? Because it feels like judgment. She sighed. Maybe you're being too sensitive. Not everything is an attack. I didn't respond. What was the point? My father found me after breakfast. Sat down at the outdoor table where I was drinking coffee alone. I've been thinking about your situation all night. Dad, please don't. What if you moved back home for a while? Just temporarily. You could save money. Figure things out. Get back on your feet. I'm 34 years old. I know. But you're clearly struggling. There's no shame in asking for help. I'm not struggling, Natalie. His voice was so sad, so genuinely worried. Please stop being stubborn. We can all see you're in trouble. Let us help you. I closed my eyes. I promise you, Dad. I'm exactly where I need to be. He shook his head. I really hope you're right. I pray you're right. As families started packing up cars, Preston found me one last time. Look, I'm sorry if I was harsh yesterday, but someone needs to give you tough love. You need to hear the truth. I said nothing. He continued. That position? I can hold it for 2 weeks. After that, the offer expires. Think about it. I won't need it. He laughed. Bitter. Right. Well, when you finally hit rock bottom, don't say we didn't try to help. He handed me his business card. Again. I already had 5 of them. Call me when you're ready to be realistic. I took the card. I'll be in touch very soon. I promise. My mother grabbed me as I was loading my car. She was crying. Again. Why can't you just be normal? Like Preston and Mallory? Why do you have to make everything so difficult? I'm just being myself, Mom. But that's not enough. She was actually sobbing now. You're breaking my heart. Every day, you're breaking my heart. For a second, I felt bad. Just a second. Mom, everything is going to make sense very soon. What does that even mean? Just trust me. Please. She looked confused and hurt, and I almost told her everything. Almost. But I didn't. I hugged my relatives goodbye, each one offering final bits of advice or pity. Grandmother pressed a folded check into my hand. $500. For groceries, she whispered. I can't stand thinking of you hungry. I tried to refuse. She wouldn't let me. I took it to avoid making a scene. I'd donate it somewhere later. The drive home felt endless. 3 hours of my car rattling and my mind racing. Was this revenge? Was this justice? Was this necessary? It was all 3. I got home Sunday evening. Sat in my tiny apartment. 29 hours until the announcement. I couldn't sleep. Kept imagining their faces. Preston's shock. My mother's disbelief. My father's confusion. All those cousins and aunts and uncles who'd looked at me with pity. Monday morning, I got an email from the Time magazine editor at 8 a.m. Magazine hits stands at 6 p.m. today. Digital release simultaneous. Congratulations, Natalie. The world is about to know your name. Attached was a PDF of the cover. My face. Professional photo. Confident smile. I barely recognized myself. Headline in huge letters. Natalie Winters. Person of the Year subheading. How one woman's quiet revolution changed healthcare forever. I stared at it for 20 minutes. It still didn't feel real. 10 hours left. 6 p.m. I sat on my couch with my laptop open. Refreshed the Time magazine website at 5:59. 6:01. The cover appeared on their homepage. My face filled the entire screen. I watched it hit social media in real time. Twitter exploded. Within 3 minutes, #Natalie Winters was trending. Within 5 minutes, news outlets were picking it up. CNN notification. MIT graduate named Person of Year for Healthcare AI Revolution. My phone started ringing. 6:07 p.m. Preston calling. I let it ring 3 times. Then answered. Nat? His voice sounded strangled, confused. I just saw something online. Is this real? Is this actually you? Yes, Preston. It's me. Silence. Complete silence for 10 full seconds. Your Person of the Year? You? Surprise. But how? Why didn't you tell us? What the hell have you been doing? I've been working, like I told you. You just never asked what that work actually was. I don't understand. The article says you built some AI program that's in 300 hospitals? That 15 million people use? That you turned down $50 million from Microsoft? Yep. Natalie, what the actual hell? You called me unemployed, Preston. You said I was a failure. You offered me an entry-level IT job, making $45,000. Do you understand how that feels? His breathing was heavy on the other end. I didn't know. You never told me. You never asked. Not once. Not ever. You just assumed. Natalie, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. Too late for sorry. I hung up. My phone immediately started exploding. Calls, texts, emails, all flooding in at once. Mother called 6 times in a row. Father called 4 times. Texts pouring in. Mallory. Oh my God, Nat, is this real cousin Heather? I always knew you were special, Blake. So proud of you, cousin Aunt Constance. Just saw cover, congratulations, darling. I ignored all of them. Just watched my phone light up over and over. Felt this cold satisfaction spreading through my chest. My mother's 3rd voicemail came through. I played it on speaker. Natalie, please call me back. I don't understand what's happening. Time magazine? Person of the year? Why didn't you tell us? I'm your mother. People are calling asking me questions and I don't know what to say. I don't understand anything. Please, baby, please call me back. I deleted it without finishing. 6:52 p.m. Email from my father. Subject: We need to talk, Natalie. I just read the entire Time magazine article. I had no idea. Your mother is beside herself. Preston is in shock. Why didn't you tell us about ARIA? About the hospitals, the millions of people you've helped? The article says you've been nominated for a Nobel Prize. You turned down $50 million to keep your program free. I don't understand why you kept this from us. We're your family. Please call. We need to understand. We need to apologize. Love. Dad, I read it 3 times. Didn't respond. Twitter was absolutely losing its mind. Hashtag Natalie Winters was trending #1 worldwide. Disability rights activists flooding the platform with stories. Because of Natalie Winters, I understood my mother's cancer diagnosis for the first time. My deaf daughter can communicate with her teachers thanks to ARIA. Natalie changed our entire family. I am paralyzed from the neck down. ARIA gave me independence. She gave me my life back. Medical professionals weighing in. ARIA is the most significant healthcare technology advancement since the MRI machines, said one Stanford researcher. Tech leaders commenting. A former Google AI lead. What Natalie built alone rivals teams of hundreds at major companies. Every news channel picked up the story. Person of year lived in studio apartment while changing the world. MSNBC. Healthcare revolution built by 34-year-old working alone. Local Connecticut news started covering it. Hometown hero named Person of Year. And reporters started digging. Found my family in Connecticut. Found the recent reunion. 7:23 p.m. Text from Preston. Nat, please. I'm so sorry. I was wrong about everything. Can we talk? I need to apologize properly. I replied. Remember what you said Saturday? That I'm a failure living in a shoebox? That I threw my life away? Preston. I was wrong. I'm so sorry. Me. You weren't wrong to say it. You were wrong to think it. Preston. Please let me make this right. Me. Not yet. I blocked his number. Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. Local news crews showed up at my parents' house. I know because it was on TV by 7:30. My parents standing on their front lawn in pajamas looking completely shell-shocked. Reporters shoving microphones in their faces. Mr. and Mrs. Winters, how does it feel having Person of the Year as your daughter? My mother stammering. We're very proud. We always knew she was special. Reporter. But sources say she wasn't always supported by family? That some relatives called her unemployed? My father's face went completely white. That's not accurate. We've always supported Natalie. The footage went viral. People in the comments tearing them apart. Cousin Heather posted on Instagram. Old childhood photo of us together. Caption. Always knew my brilliant cousin would change the world. So proud. Hashtag Natalie Winters. Hashtag Person of the Year. Hashtag Family First. Comments immediately called her out. Didn't you literally offer to help her with her resume last week? "This is so fake." Heather deleted the post 2 hours later. Tuesday morning. Preston's law firm called him into a meeting. I know because he emailed me about it later. His senior partners asked why he never mentioned his sister was doing revolutionary AI work. Said they could have had connections to her. Could have benefited from her expertise in healthcare law. Preston realized he could have advanced his career through me. His dismissal of me had cost him professionally. He tried calling again. Still blocked. Mallory had her own crisis. Her school principal called her in. "Your sister is Person of the Year? Why didn't you mention this?" Students asking questions. "Is it true your family didn't support her?" Mallory felt humiliated. The stable, normal sister who suddenly looked completely clueless. "My mother called 23 times on Tuesday alone. Every voicemail more desperate. People are saying terrible things. That we didn't support you. That we called you unemployed. Tell them it's not true. Your father and I are being harassed by reporters. You need to make a statement. Tell them we were good parents." I listened to each one. Felt satisfaction mixed with something else. Something that might have been sadness. Someone created a family group chat. 42 members. Blake. "Can someone explain what's happening?" Aunt Constance. "I feel like such a fool. I offered her money for food." Grandmother. "I gave her $500 for groceries. Person of the Year and I gave her grocery money." Uncle Bernard. "We need to make a family statement supporting her." Preston. "She's not responding to anyone." Adrian. "Can you blame her?" Blake. "I suggested she work at Starbucks. Person of the Year, and I told her to apply for retail." The mortification was setting in for all of them. Wednesday. Articles digging deeper. Natalie Winters. Genius dismissed by her own family. People who'd been at the reunion were talking to reporters. I was there. They offered her an entry-level IT job. Person of the Year, and they offered her $45,000 a year. Her brother called her projects imaginary. This was literally 4 days before the announcement. Comments sections were brutal. "Imagine being so blind you can't see genius in your own family. This is why women in STEM struggle. Even their families don't believe in them." Wednesday evening. My father sent a 6-page letter. Actual letter. Scanned and emailed. Detailed apology. Every dismissive comment acknowledged. Every mistake admitted. "I measured your success by my own limited standards. You were building something revolutionary and I told you to grow up. You were changing millions of lives and I said you needed to face reality. I was wrong. So completely wrong. I don't know if you can forgive me. But please know I finally see you. I see you now." I cried reading it. First time I'd cried since the announcement. First crack in my armor. But I still didn't respond. Wednesday evening. Preston posted on LinkedIn. "I owe my sister Natalie Winters a public apology. For years, I dismissed her work, questioned her choices, doubted her path. I was wrong about everything. She's Person of the Year. She has changed millions of lives. She built something extraordinary while I mocked her from my corporate office. I'm sorry, Nat. I'm incredibly sorry." 20,000 shares in 6 hours. Comments were mixed. Some praised his honesty. Most said it was too late. I saw the post. Felt something soften slightly in my chest. But not enough. Not yet. Thursday afternoon. 2 p.m. Knock on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole. Mallory. I almost didn't answer. Stood there for 30 seconds just staring at her blurry face through the distorted glass. She knocked again. "Nat, I know you're there. Please. Just 5 minutes." I opened the door. She looked exhausted. Eyes red and puffy. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside without saying anything. We sat on my worn couch. The same couch I'd been sitting on when Time magazine called. Silence stretched between us for a full minute. "I don't have excuses," Mallory finally said. "I was wrong. We all were." I didn't respond. I thought I was being helpful. Kind even. Offering teaching suggestions, showing concern. but I was being condescending. Yes, you were. You tried to tell us about your work, multiple times, and we didn't just not listen. We actively shut you down. Actively mocked me, I corrected. Yes, that too. More silence. Mallory looked at me. Can I tell you something I've never admitted to anyone? What? I was jealous of you. That surprised me. Jealous of what? You all thought I was failing. I was jealous of your courage. You walked away from safe traditional success to do something meaningful. Something you believed in. I played it safe. Teacher. Marriage. House in the suburbs. I followed every single rule society gave me. She started crying. You broke all the rules. And instead of admiring you for it, I judged you. Because your freedom terrified me. Made me question whether I'd made the right choices. Something shifted inside me. This was the first honest thing any family member had said. Mal, I never judged your choices. I know. Which makes mine so much worse. We talked for 3 hours. Actually talked. She asked about ARIA. Really asked. About how it worked. About the breakthroughs. About why I chose open source. Questions nobody had bothered asking before. I explained the AI ethics behind it. The accessibility challenges. Why I turned down millions of dollars. You could be a billionaire right now, she said quietly. That was never the point. I know. That's what makes it so remarkable. She explained the family's perspective. We were raised to value security over passion. Dad worked the same accounting job for 40 years. Mom never worked at all. They don't understand passion-driven careers. Your choices looked reckless to them. Terrifying. So mockery was the answer? No. We were wrong. Preston especially. Your independence threatened his entire worldview. His identity is built on traditional success. You proved there are other ways to matter. First time, someone actually understood. Will you talk to Mom and Dad? Mallory asked before leaving. They're destroyed. Good. Nat. They humiliated me, publicly. Repeatedly. For years. I know. And they deserve your anger. But they're also suffering. And they genuinely didn't understand what you were building. Not ready yet. She nodded. I understand. Take all the time you need. At the door, she turned back. For what it's worth, I'm so proud of you. I should have said it years ago. First genuine family connection in forever. Friday. The full-time magazine video interview released online. 20-minute segment. Me explaining ARIA's development. Showing my tiny apartment workspace. Demonstrating the AI helping actual disabled users. Emotional testimonials. One part went absolutely viral. Interviewer. You could have made billions. Why choose open source? Me. Because disabled people needing accessibility can't afford to wait for profitable business models. Healthcare shouldn't be gatekept by wealth. That's a significant personal sacrifice. I smiled, sad and knowing. My family called it unemployment. I call it purpose. Perspective matters. That clip was everywhere. Millions of shares. My family called it unemployment. I call it purpose. Became this rallying cry. Memes, artwork, inspirational posts. Saturday. Uncle Bernard called. Actually got through before I could block him. Natalie, I owe you an enormous apology. What I said at dinner about wasting your MIT education. I remember. I was speaking from complete ignorance. Can you forgive an old fool? I softened slightly. I appreciate you saying that, Uncle Bernard. Will you come to dinner? Let us celebrate you properly? Not yet. Well, wait as long as you need. Sunday afternoon. Another knock. This time, Grandmother Violet, 83 years old, driven herself 3 hours. I'm not leaving until you talk to me. I let her in. She sat on my couch with this determined look. I gave you $500 for food. You're Person of the Year, and I handed you grocery money like you were destitute. I almost smiled. I know, Grandma. Why didn't you tell us? Any of us? Honest answer. Because you never asked. Not really. You asked when I'd get a real job, when I'd settle down. You never asked what I was building or why it mattered. She was quiet, then grabbed my hand. You're absolutely right. We were so busy judging, we forgot to listen. I'm proud of you. I should have said it before I saw a magazine cover. I hugged her. First family hug since the announcement. 2 weeks after the announcement, I finally agreed to meet my parents and Preston. Neutral location, small coffee shop in Connecticut, Tuesday afternoon. I got there first. Ordered black coffee. Sat in the corner booth. My hands were shaking. They arrived together. Warren, Judith, Preston. All looking nervous. Aged somehow. My father spoke first. Voice shaking. Natalie, I've been replaying every conversation we had. Every time I told you to be realistic. Every dismissive comment. He paused. Composed himself. I was measuring you against my own fears. I worked one safe job my entire life because I was terrified of risk. When you took risks, it didn't just scare me. It confronted me with my own limitations. My mother interrupted. We thought we were protecting you. From failure, from poverty, from judgment. You were the ones judging me, I said quietly. Judith nodded, tears streaming. Yes, we were. And we were so wrong. Preston's turn. Nat, I need you to understand something. Not as an excuse, just context. I'm listening. My entire identity is built on traditional markers of success. Law degree, partnership, salary, status. When you rejected all of that, you were rejecting everything I believed made a person valuable. First real vulnerability I'd ever seen from him. Your success from a tiny apartment threatens my entire worldview. If you can change the world without a corporate office, what does my corner office actually mean? I was surprised by his honesty. It means whatever it means to you, Preston. I never said your path was wrong. You said mine was. I know. I was defending my choices by attacking yours. Classic insecurity. The heart of it. Finally. Do you understand what the worst part was? I asked. Not that you didn't support me, but that you never asked. For 3 years, I was building something revolutionary, and not one of you asked what I was actually doing. My father. You're absolutely right. You saw poverty, failure, embarrassment. You never saw purpose, or passion, or impact. My mother. We were blind. Willfully blind, I corrected. Because seeing me as successful on my own terms meant admitting your values aren't universal. That stability isn't the only measure of success. That traditional paths aren't the only valid ones. Preston leaned forward. What can we do to fix this? I don't know if you can. The hurt goes really deep. Silence sat heavy between us. But I know this, I continued. If you want a relationship with me going forward, it has to be built on respect, not pity, not concern, not fix-it projects, respect. They all nodded. That means accepting I know what I'm doing with my life, even when you don't understand it, even when it scares you. Trusting that I'm competent to make my own choices. My father. We can do that. We will do that. I set boundaries. Clear ones. I need space and time. I can't just forgive immediately because you're sorry. That's not how trust works. My mother. We understand. I'm not coming to family events until I'm ready. If that takes months or years, that's how it is. Preston. That's completely fair. And when I do come back, I need real commitment. No unsolicited advice. No career suggestions. No comparing me to anyone else. I am enough as I am. My father's voice broke. You are. You always were. We just couldn't see it. Before I left, I said something I needed them to hear. I don't hate you. Any of you. I'm hurt. There's a difference. My mother reached for my hand. Can we call sometimes? Just to talk? I considered it. Mallory can call once a week. If that goes well, we'll expand from there. It was a small crack in the wall. But they'd take it. 1 month later, ARIA kept expanding. UNESCO adopted it for their Global Accessibility Initiative. The World Health Organization recommended it for developing nations. 500 hospitals now. 12 million users worldwide. The Nobel Prize nomination was formalized. I won a MacArthur Genius Grant. 60 Minutes wanted a profile. TED Talk invitations. Book deals. Movie rights. I was selective. Only took opportunities that advanced ARIA's actual mission. Turned down most of it. Mallory's weekly calls became the highlight of my week. We actually talked. Really talked. One call. She said, "I'm using you as a case study in my classroom. Teaching students about accessibility and ethics in tech. Really? You're inspiring the next generation. Not just with your work, with your courage." That meant more than any award. My father started emailing articles about AI ethics. Not advice. Just thought you might find this interesting. Never pushy. Just showing he was trying to understand. 1 month later, I replied to one of his emails. Started a small dialogue. One email from him said, "I'm reading everything I can about ARIA. Trying to understand what I missed all those years. You built something beautiful, sweetheart." I cried reading it. My mother's evolution was slower. She still struggled with caring what others thought. But she sent a card. "I'm working on myself. On understanding how my insecurities led me to judge you. I'm proud of you." I should have said it 1,000 times before. Progress. Even if imperfect. Preston did something unexpected. Started using his legal expertise to help disability rights organizations pro bono. Sent me an email. "Can't undo my mistakes. But maybe I can honor your work by supporting the community you serve." I respected that. Not forgiveness yet, but acknowledgement. 3 months after the announcement, grandmother Violet's 84th birthday. Small family dinner invitation. Just immediate family. I debated for days. Mallory didn't pressure me. No expectations. "But Grandma would love to see you." I decided to go. First family event since the reunion. I arrived nervous. Parents. Preston and his wife. Mallory and Clark. Kept small deliberately. No extended family yet. Grandmother hugged me tight. "You came. Happy birthday, Grandma." The dinner was actually pleasant. Nobody brought up Person of the Year unless I did. Nobody asked about work unless I volunteered. Just family dinner. Strange but nice. After dinner, I stood on the porch with my father, watching the sunset. "I've been going to therapy," he said quietly. That surprised me. "Really?" Trying to understand why I needed the world to validate you before I could. Why I couldn't just believe in my own daughter. "What have you learned?" That I'm more insecure than I realized. That I projected all of that onto you. That I'm sorry isn't enough, but it's all I have. We stood in comfortable silence. First peaceful moment in years. Award season came. The Time Person of the Year ceremony. Gala in New York. Black tie event. I could invite one guest. I chose Mallory. Her reaction? "Really? Not Mom or Dad. You were the first to genuinely apologize. First to really listen. That matters," she cried. At the gala, Mallory watched me accept the award on stage. Saw world leaders, celebrities, tech giants all celebrating me. Her sister, the one they'd called Unemployed 6 months ago. During my acceptance speech, I said something I'd been thinking about. Success looks different to everyone. For some people, it's corner offices and 6-figure salaries. For others, it's knowing 12 million lives are better because of your work. Both are valid. Neither should be dismissed. I paused. Looked out at the audience. Judge people by their impact, not their job titles. By their purpose, not their paychecks. By their courage to pursue what matters to them, not their adherence to your expectations. Standing ovation. My family watching the live stream at home. All of them crying. 6 months after everything exploded. Uncle Bernard's birthday. Another family gathering. I received an invitation. This one different. Natalie Winters, AI pioneer, healthcare revolutionary, Person of the Year, and beloved family member. I smiled. Decided to attend. The reception was completely different. Cousins genuinely interested in my work, Blake asking real questions about how the sign language translation actually functioned. Aunt Constance. I volunteer at the hospital now. I see ARIA helping patients every single day. You changed our whole community. Uncle Bernard's toast. To Natalie, who taught us that genius doesn't always look how we expect it to. Who taught us to listen before we judge. Who made us all better by being exactly who she is. Full circle. Standing in the same lake house 1 year later. But everything was different. Preston approached me on the dock. Same dock where my father had told me to grow up. I want you to know something, he said. I'm not just sorry I didn't see your success. I'm sorry I didn't see you. The real you. Your passion. Your purpose. Your brilliance. It was all there. I was just too threatened and blind to look. Thank you for saying that. Can we start over? Not forget what happened, but build something real? He extended his hand. I shook it. We can try. I learned something too. Part of why I hid my success was spite. I wanted them to feel foolish. And they did. But revenge didn't feel as good as I'd expected. What felt better was this. Rebuilding relationships on honest foundation. Teaching my family to value different definitions of success. Watching them grow and learn. It wasn't about winning. It was about mutual respect. Real respect. 2 years later, ARIA is in 70 countries now. 20 million users. Nobel Prize won. More innovations launched. Family relationships aren't perfect, but they're real. Preston's kids ask Aunt Natalie to help with science projects. My father emails weekly, genuinely interested in my work. My mother volunteers with disability organizations. Mallory became my closest friend. Grandmother Violet is proudest of all. The real victory wasn't the Time magazine cover. Wasn't the Nobel Prize. Wasn't even the vindication. It was sitting at family dinner, talking about my work. Everyone actually listening. Really listening. Respecting my choices. Valuing my path. That was the win. One evening, Preston asked me something. Do you regret not telling us before? About ARIA? I thought carefully. No. You needed to dismiss me to realize your mistake. I needed to be dismissed to understand my own strength. It happened the way it needed to. That's generous. It's honest. We all grew. Painfully. Yes. But we grew. And that was the truth. Sometimes families need to break before they can rebuild stronger. Sometimes you need to be completely unseen to understand your own worth doesn't depend on their vision. Sometimes the greatest success is teaching the people who love you how to truly see you. I'm still in that same studio apartment. Could afford a mansion now. Choose to stay. Not to prove anything. Just because this is where ARIA was born. Where I became myself. Where I learned I didn't need anyone's validation. My phone buzzes. Family group chat. Mom. Thinking of you. Proud of you. Love you. I smile. Type back. Love you too. And I mean it. Because success isn't just changing the world. It's also healing the relationships that matter. On your own terms. Both are revolutionary acts. She was Person of the Year to the world. But more importantly, she was finally seen for who she truly was by the people who should have seen her all along. And that recognition, earned through pain and honesty and time, meant everything. So here's what I want to know. Have you ever been underestimated by the people who should have believed in you most? Drop a comment and tell me your story. And if this resonated with you, if you've ever felt invisible or dismissed, or told your dreams weren't realistic, hit that like button. Subscribe, because everyone deserves to be seen for who they really are. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone still building their dream in silence. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that your worth isn't defined by anyone's limited vision. Keep building. Keep believing. The world will catch up eventually. And to my family, if you're watching this, I love you. We made it through.